Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of the EcoStruxure Machine Expert HVAC. I'm your host, Leandro Mada, and in this video what we're gonna do is to check how we can use the case syntax that we have on the software. So let's go to the presentation first. So let's just put the pen and let's start with this. So in order to have an idea how this works, I try to use like a graphical way to understand how the case works, and then we're gonna jump into how to use the syntax. So imagine that you have like a function, like a block, and as soon as you enter into the case block, okay, you have like comparison of the block in the block using a number. So the block compares the number that you have put in, and depending on the value, it can execute something. Okay, so the case is a syntax that can be used in a structured text. As it shows here, we just go with a variable, okay, variable information, enter it here in the box, and then it starts asking, is this variable equal to one or another one that we define? But let's just follow this. Number one, if it's yes, then you just execute one part of the code and then just go to the end and just get out of the block. But if it's not that number, you just go to the next one and ask, okay, so it's equal to the next number, one, to the two. And if it's yes, it just go, execute, and no. Otherwise, if it's not, then it just jump. And you also have the possibility, if it's none of those values that we have defined, just execute this logic. Otherwise, just get out. This is how it works. Okay. So this is the syntax of the case. So basically, we just need to use the case, the variable that we want to use on this block or syntax in order to compare, then use the of word, and then you need to put in between the case and the end case with the colon in order to finish the syntax, to finish this. Okay, the end case is to put your code, and then you just need to put your value without this part, just the value, the column, and then your code. This is how it works. So in the right part, you can see here that, just bear with me, there we go. You can see that I used case, I step is one variable that I'm using, okay, an integer value of, and then I specify number 0, then execute this part. When it's finished, you just get out and continue with the code. If it's not 0, then it compares this one, no. Okay, if it's 2 or 3, no. Is the value 4 or is between 5 and 8? Equal 5 or equal 8 and everything is between them? Yes, then execute this part of the code and then just get out. If it's none of this value, it just execute this instruction, or don't do anything, you just delete it if you want this part of the code, and that's it. Okay, so it's very easy to use. So another way, instead of using the number 0, 1 or whatever, that sometimes it doesn't mean anything. So is this step 1 or is this step 2 and we don't know what it is, or is a condition? We can compare the, instead of using the value, with the enum. So we can create an enum and then use the enum instance in order to make the comparison. So it's going to be much easier for us in order to understand. So instead, for example, case I step is 0, or the command I command, for example, if we use cmd command, if the command is 0, then it means that it needs to be a stop, right? And 0, that probably doesn't mean anything. Or if it's 3, it means that, okay, I need to go into high speed, so I use the logic, okay, instead of using the if CMD is equal 0, then execute this, or if CMD is 3, execute this. In this case, you have like an easy way to see the code. Okay, so let's open the application. So let's create a new program. Checking case. So let's create CMD. CMD, it's going to be an int value, and then I'm going to use the syntax case of, I'm going to drag and drop this one off, and then this one is value 0. For example, let's see, motor speed, just an example. So if this is 0, then I want that the velocity of the motor goes to 0, and let's see, it's motor on, something like that. So I can add not only just one line, I can add multiple lines. So in this condition, what I'm doing is, okay, if the command is 0, the velocity is going to be 0 and the motor is going to be turned off. If the value is 1, what I can do, for example, is to put the motor, I don't know, 100 RPM, and the command to turn on is going to be in true. Okay, and for example, if the value is 3, motor speed is going to be, I don't know, 500 RPM. I'm going to put this one over here just to turn on the motor in case we are in different places. True. True. And end case. I'm going to create another one. I'm going to put, for example, X alarm in false in all of them, because I just come up with something I want to show you. Okay, so if we connect to the simulated PLC, load, yes. So it's important to remember the syntax and everything. In this case, the variable of the numbers that you want. Then remember to put the number and then the column, and finish the case with the end underscore case and the semicolon. So if the value is 0, it's just we are in this situation. Now, if the let me just put this over here. Now, if the value is number 1, you can see that the motor speed is 100, the motor is on, and the alarm is in false. If I put this in number 3, we just go to highest speed and the motor is on. But if I put the command in, I don't know, 3, it's going to be the same number. But if I put this in 5, this is not executed, but the values remains. So if I use this again, 0, it's just turn it off. If I put number 1, it's just turn it on again. So what we can add here is another condition. If it's none of these values, what we can do is to, I forgot the syntax. So else, okay, else, it was easy. So if we use the else command or the else syntax, any other value, okay, will give me what I want. I want that this one goes to 999, motor false, but the alarm true. It's just an example. Okay. So it's going to be value 3. Now if I put the value 89, you can see that the alarm is activated and I'm in this condition because it's outside this range. Okay, so if I put the value 1 again, start working once again. So let's go back to the presentation, create this behavior, and enums. So the idea of the enums, I think I have this one, enum motor. Okay, so we can do this. So instead of using this number, we can use this enum motor and then use this hashtag of. So instead of comparing with a number that we don't know what is the number or what is the reason of the number, what we can do is to do this. So enum motor hashtag on. Okay, I'm going to use the number 3 in there, else. So you can see that we can make some kind of combination here, because the values or the case is not comparing the scene, it's not comparing the text, it's just comparing the value. This case off is 0 and the other one is 1. Okay, so you can see 1 is already in there. If I put the number 0, it just turn it off. Okay, so simple as that. So this is how we can make the syntax of the case. So you can see here, already finished this part. So it's important to use the case when you can. Okay, just when you have a variable, make the combination. Probably it's going to be for making a step. For example, after doing this, I can increase the variable of the step if you want, and then you just jump into different stages in the case. So this is one way to do this and how to use it. So remember to use the enums and follow the syntax for the case. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.